High Heel Night. Welcome to my channel. This is my movie review of Dr. Sleep. It's a 2019 suspense horror film, and it's the direct sequel to 1980's The Shining. Danny Torrance, the original little boy that could see dead people, is now all grown up, and even though he's mastered his powers, he's falling into depression and depravity, and he just wanders town to town aimlessly without a job, and he drinks and he abuses substances. He's just a terrible, terrible human being, heavily burdened by the power that he possesses. One day he encounters a young woman named Abra Stone, and Abra is also a person with psychic abilities. She reaches out to Danny because she wants to have a friendship with somebody else with psychic abilities, but she also learns that she's targeted by a cult group of people that also have special powers, led by a woman named Rose the Hat. Rose and her followers feed off the essence of other people with psychic powers, so Abra and Danny must team up together in order to defeat this evil, vicious cult. Now, as a sequel, the standard question is, should you have seen the original before seeing this movie? Well, yes and no. Yes, as in the movie makes several references to The Shining, meaning visual references, meaning storytelling references. But on the other hand, The Shining is so famous and so many times referenced and parodied for the past several decades that pretty much anyone older than 30 should be genuinely familiar with the iconography of the film, even if that person's never actually sat down and watched 5 whole minutes of the movie. In fact, you might even be 25 years and older by now at this point. So yes, it definitely helps to have seen the film, but if you haven't, any of a certain age demographic, you'll likely be able to follow along. So I want to talk about a couple things I liked about the movie, a couple things I didn't like about the movie, and then finally give my verdict. Starting with the things I liked about the movie, I like that Abra Stone is very proactive. You know, she is willing to take the fight to this cabal of villains, so that's sort of refreshing that someone in a horror film is being proactive. Granted, I felt she maybe was a little too proactive. I think she could have been scared, a little apprehensive, a little bit more, because she sort of goes from being a wallflower for most of her life into a scrappy dude just when she finally learns that, hey, there's somebody out there that's like me and I got to take down these villains. It's just sort of a bit of a too big of a turn too fast for me, but I do appreciate that she's proactive. And another thing I like is that the way that Abra and Danny take down a particular bad guy is very surprising and very cool on its own. But I have let's say, a personal pet peeve about the way driving is portrayed in movies. So this sort of turns that in on its head. It certainly wasn't done for sake of driver safety announcements, but still, it's just something that I have annoyance about driving in films. So I just sort of like that moment extra for myself, as opposed to just being cool and interesting and amazing and surprising on its own. And as far as things I didn't like about the movie, these negatives are not against the film itself as in they're bad. These are negatives as in my personal taste. First of all, Danny, when he's just at his lowest point, he needs to make a decision. It could have been a simple, easy decision, and he doesn't make that decision. And because he doesn't make that decision, it leads to tragedy. Now, a lot of folks with various addictions and substance abuses, they hit rock bottom, and when they hit rock bottom, that's when they know they got to turn their life around. So by not making the right choice, it leads to him hitting rock bottom and turning his life around, which is good. But still, I'm thinking you could have just made one simple phone call, an anonymous phone call, and that tragedy wouldn't have happened. So I can't forgive her for that. I'd like to have my protagonist, even if they're down and out, I still like to enjoy them, and that is just a moment I cannot forgive with Danny. And another thing that I personally didn't like was the scene where we see the cabal feed off a victim. It is very gruesome, and it's very intense, and it's very vile. So as a psychological horror film, it fits, and narratively it fits because we need to see how they feed, because it will lead to how the team is defeated. But personally, I was just squirming and frustrated because like, oh no, we've already established these are the villains. They're clearly the villains. Do we really need to see? I was just struggling to watch that scene. And granted, I feel a bit hypocritical. I remember way back in my teenage years, in my early 20s, I was like, why don't they show bad things happen to children in films? Why don't they have the guts to show terrible things happen to little children in films? You know, why does all the bad, nothing bad ever happens to little kids and we never see things happen to little kids? Well, now that I'm in my middle ages, whenever I see something horrible happen to children, I just go like mentally ballistic in my brain. So I acknowledge that this scene definitely fits and works and is essential, but now that I'm of a certain age, I've changed my mind about seeing horrible things happen to children. It also is the reason why I didn't like the lack of effort by Danny in the movie, which led to that tragedy. It's all personal. I am very much against seeing horrible things happen to children. I don't feel about it. I just struggle to watch that. So as far as my verdict, I did enjoy this movie overall. I'm definitely recommend it. It's suspenseful. It's interesting. It is a slow burn though, which again goes back to why it's helpful to see the first movie, because the first movie is a very slow burn and this movie is a slow burn, but it's definitely worth the watch. So I do recommend it. And the only reason why this movie isn't getting somewhere in the A rankings is because of my personal problems now with seeing harm happening to young people. So with that in mind, I give Dr. Sleep a B+ grade. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Be sure to share whatever comments you like in the comment section. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or dislike, share, and subscribe. Once again, I'm High Heel Knight. Thank you for watching, and remember, find inspiration everywhere.